But anyway, yeah, we're getting off track.
That's okay.
Okay, to backtrack a little, we were talking about whether you can prove love, and if not, how can you justify believing in love? And I was saying that proof isn't a valid concept anyway, but you can demonstrate love. People who are in love behave differently. They're more likely to disregard their own survival in order to protect somebody. And their body chemistry changes. I mean, like we were saying before, you feel love in your heart because your heart beats faster. Your blood pressure goes up. Your sweat glands start working overtime. Your breath gets faster, depending on what kind of love it is, obviously.
Yeah, because you're not doing much for my sweat glands or anything right now.
Right. And those things can be tested and measured. So when they say you can't measure love, well, sure you can. I mean, you can't be 100% reliable on it, but you can sure measure it, and you can find something with greater reliability than random chance.
Not only that, but this whole thing is, as I mentioned before, love is a label that we put on a wide variety of behaviors and experiences and observations, but it's also a very personal thing. I can look and see a mother and a child and see the smile on her face, and I'll just say, that's love. I have no need of any further evidence. What I'm doing is observing a behavior and applying the label to it as I see fit.
And
I don't need to measure
You're basing it also on past experience with people who behave in a consistent way with regard to the person they love.
Because I know how my mom looked at me.
Yeah, sure.
And still does. Hi, Mom. Love you.
She's no way
she's
did
not
she watch
watching
this show.
That's right. Still love you.
So, I mean, if I was going to design an experiment to detect love, for instance, I would never claim a perfect accuracy rate. But, what I would do, for example, is I would take pictures of somebody's loved ones. I would pick a bunch of subjects, take pictures of their loved ones, and mix them in with a bunch of pictures of strangers that they never met before, and just show them to them and measure their brain activity. I mean, I would imagine that something changes and can be detected in a reliable way.
And to make it a good experiment, make sure that among the people that aren't among their loved ones are people that they recognize and people that they don't recognize.
Right.
So that you can make distinctions about whether or not they're just recognizing a familiar face or if they have some kind of strong emotional connection to that face.
Right.
See, we've done it. In a minute and a half, we've come up with a scientific experiment that can demonstrate the phenomenon we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Now, why can't you psychics do that? Why can't you homeopaths do that? Why can't you astrologers do that? Why can't you religious people do that?
Yeah, we don't mean to say that you have to have perfect accuracy. I mean, we think that I think that those ESP tests that they do are pretty good, like in the beginning of Ghostbusters.
With the other cards, yeah.
Yeah, where they show cards and you try to guess, and you see if you can consistently guess in a way that can't be attributed to random chance. It's just that people don't manage to perform under those conditions, and then they give lame excuses like, oh, there's skeptics in the room, they're destroying my energy.
Okay, so as an experiment, I just drew a picture on this piece of paper, and if you think you're psychic and can tell me what this picture is, feel free to call.
Okay, very good. So now I've established a case for believing that love exists, but I can already hear the theists saying, well, you could use the same arguments for God existing. Couldn't you use the same test for God? I mean, God is a shared human experience. People report the same kind of feelings about, thinking about God. So if you can demonstrate that love is real in that way, why can't you demonstrate, why can't I use the same argument to prove that God exists? And my reaction to that is, you can, if by God you mean the feelings you feel in your brain that are associated with God. I mean, there's no need to make that distinction with love, because if I say love, or I say the feelings in your brain that are associated with love, both of those are valid dictionary I could get them out of the dictionary as that's what love is. The feelings that you feel related to love are exactly no more or less than what love is. Are you going to make that claim for God? Because I don't think you want to do that. I don't deny that belief in God exists, and I never would. I just deny that the belief is connected to anything that is in the real world. And if you think that this is different from love, actually it isn't. You don't need something that's physically real in order to experience love. I mean, you know, embarrassing confession here. Around the time I was 15, The Little Mermaid came out by Disney, and Ariel was so hot. I had a major crush on her as a teenager. She's a cartoon character. I mean, she's a hot redhead in a seashell bra, but she's an invention. And yet, I felt those feelings.
You are absolutely crazy, because Jessica Rabbit was so much hotter.
Well, Jessica Rabbit too, but there wasn't that innocence about her, you know.
Ariel, she was a fish.
She got legs though.
You pervert.
And love is also very subjective. I mean, you know, we were talking before about how you can. Different people may have different conceptions of what love is.
Right.
And as another example of this, consider the battered wife of an alcoholic husband. She would say, people would say, why would you stay with that guy? And she says, well, he loves me, and I love him. And people would still say, you think you're in love, but get over it. You've got to get out of that situation to save your life. When people say that love is transcendent and supersedes all physical world considerations, I say no. Some people, love makes some people idiots, and in certain specific cases, they'd be better off disregarding their supposed love. So, to conclude, if theists want to say God exists and he's just a feeling that I have, then I totally agree with them. And I bet you could test for belief in God the same way that you could test for love. But proving the existence of a belief is a far cry from proving the existence of an all-powerful being who created the universe. And that's all.
That's it?
Yeah. Now we're in trouble.
Oh, man.